Good morning, everyone. Jerome Harris here from epiphetic.com, and in this video, I'm going to talk about two things. Number one, I'm going to give you a memory aid on how to memorize the 12 apostles, and also talk about briefly how to identify false apostles today. That is, anyone today who claims that they are an apostle. Let me show you how to identify those persons. So let's first go to Matthew chapter 10, and let's look at verses 2 down through 4. And this identifies the 12 original apostles. These are the men that Jesus chose. There we read, "These are the names of the 12 apostles. First, Simon, who is called Peter, and his brother Andrew, James, son of Zebedee, and his brother John, Philip and Bartholomew, Thomas and Matthew the tax collector, James son of Alphaeus, and Thaddeus, Simon the zealot, and Judas Iscariot, who betrayed him." Now, let me show you a memory aid here. Okay. Now, keep in mind that what is known as the New Testament or the Greek scriptures were written in Greek, and there's no J in the Greek language. But we're going to make a slight modification, and I think you guys will appreciate this slight modification only to show how you can memorize the 12 apostles. So the first thing that you want to do is write out the name baptism, B-A-P-T-I-S-M. And the slight modification that we're going to make is right here at the I. We're going to change that I to a J. All right, now let's use this memory aid. B, Bartholomew. A, Andrew. P, Philip and Peter. T, Thomas and Thaddeus. J, James, son of Zebedee. James, son of Alphaeus. John and Judas Iscariot. So there are 4 J's here. S, Simon the zealot. M, Matthew. And of course, many of you already know that Judas Iscariot was replaced by the Apostle Paul after Christ ascended. So here's the memory aid. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And of course, we know Judas was replaced by Paul. Okay, now let's talk about how to identify false apostles today. Now, keep in mind that there are no new apostles. Christ chose only 12 persons to be his apostles. And of course, Judas did not live up to the qualification, and he was replaced by the Apostle Paul. In the book of Revelation, chapter 21, read this for yourself. When New Jerusalem comes down, we're told that there are 12 foundations upon which the names of the 12 apostles will be written. No person today who self-proclaims himself as an apostle will appear on those foundations. Their names won't be there. So what I'm saying here is that there aren't any new apostles. Anyone claiming to be an apostle would be false. Now, to help you appreciate that, we're still here in Matthew chapter 10, but let's go on down to verse 5, and we'll begin there, and you'll come to understand what I'm talking about. "These 12 Jesus sent out with the following instructions. Do not go among the Gentiles or enter any town of the Samaritans. Go rather to the lost sheep of Israel. As you go, proclaim this message. The kingdom of heaven has come near." He instructs them. Heal the sick, raise the dead, cleanse those who have leprosy, drive out demons. Freely you receive, freely give. Now, look at this closely. Are these so-called self-proclaimed apostles today, are they raising the dead? See? And you have those who claim that they're making the blind see and the those who have certain infirmities, such as they can't walk or they're missing a limb or something? Are they restoring limbs whole? Are people really being healed? And again, are they raising the dead? No, you're not seeing none of that. So that identifies them as false apostles. Are they cleansing those who have leprosy? No, they're not doing any of that. Now, they may make claims to driving out demons. These so-called services that they provide, are they doing them for free? No. They're actually passing the plate, and they're using tithing, which is a part of more than 600 laws that God gave Moses, but they're going to pick just that one. Why? Because it involves money in their mind. So they'll pass the plate, and they'll place the requirement upon those who sit in their pews that they must give a 10%. They must tithe. And they don't even understand what the tithing requirement was and who it was given to back in the days when it was given to ancient Israel. That was a covenant or an agreement between God and ancient Israel. Moses was the mediator or the go-between God and ancient Israel of that covenant. That covenant or agreement wasn't given to Christ's followers. It wasn't a commandment upon Christ's followers. In fact, Christ gave us a new command, but very few talk about that new command that he gave. Many go back to saying, well, you got to keep God's commandments, as if we got to keep all of those more than 600 laws, which weren't given to Christ's followers because Christ had not come on the scene yet. You see, an agreement is agreement. A covenant is a covenant between two parties. And there's usually a mediator, usually. When you sign a lease agreement, let's say to rent an apartment, that agreement or covenant is between you and the property manager. If you fail to live up to your end of the bargain, and even if the property manager ends up not living up to his end of the bargain, then you both go into default. So that's what that is. The law covenant, that was not given to Christ's followers. I'm not required to keep the commandments, those commandments long ago. The commandment that I'm required to keep today as a follower of Christ is the new commandment. And here it is. Here at John chapter 13, verse 34 and 35, Jesus gives that new command. He says, "A new command I give you, love one another. As I have loved you, you must also love one another. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples, if you love one another." So as a disciple of Christ, I'm required to love those who are also disciples of Christ. Also, as a disciple of Christ, I'm required to love those who are not his followers. We're talking persons who are of different religions, different racial backgrounds, different ethnicities, all within the human family, even my enemies. And by doing that, all will plainly see that I and those who do this are his disciples. But what we oftentimes see out here are persons who claim that they are disciples of Christ in all these different silos, fighting amongst themselves and fighting others who also claim that they are persons of God in Christ. So what does it tell you? Conclude that for yourself. But if we go back to Matthew chapter 10 here, we can see that anyone today claiming to be an apostle, then are they raising the dead? Are they cleansing persons who have leprosy? Are they truly driving out demons, or are they inviting demons into their presence? And do they truly freely give? You see, when Jesus served persons who were not even his followers, he didn't ask anything in return, did he? So what's going on today, where it seems like money is always in the mix, always in the equation with regards to these many religious organizations? I will say almost all of them. I don't know of one. There might be some, but I don't know of one where money somehow isn't involved. So do they truly, freely give, or are they asking? So there you have it. This helps identify false apostles. There are no apostles today, not one. Any claim to do so, those are self-proclamations. And also the memory aid I gave you showing how to remember the names of the 12 apostles. This is R. Jerome Harris. Thank you for listening.